Welcome into Extreme Radio, everybody. Presented by GracePointe Healthcare. It's Extreme Radio, not Extreme Radio, everybody. It might be the name for a new brand we go with. Today's show is all season long, presented by GracePointe Healthcare. GracePointeHealthcare.com. Mention you're with 8-Man Extreme when you request your appointment online. $20 off your new patient office visit fee. GracePointe Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Sponsored by Dr. Sterling Foster. For all your digestive issues and chiropractic needs, drsterlingfoster.com.
We are also sponsored by Jets Pizza, specifically the locations in Springfield, Fort Campbell, and Clarksville. But no matter where you are in the state of Tennessee, actually they have them outside of Tennessee, but no matter where you are in the state of Tennessee, it's never a bad time to say, let's get Jets!
There you go. Waiting for that slogan. Spencer Thompson, James Shannon, bringing you today's episode.
It's your boys.
It's your boys. We are about 5 days away out from the Jamboree. Football is officially upon us. 6 days. It's 5 because we're on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 5 days away.
Sunday's not over, boy.
We're 5 days away from now.
Okay.
Because in 5 days' time, the Jamboree is started.
Fine.
And that's what's going to take up
the private school
episode today. I mean, technically, yours was a private school. Because, I mean, it's homeschool and private school.
That's a good point.
They're both private institutions.
Yes, my home was very private.
I was seeing this recently. I think it's in Rutherford County now. Either that or Davidson. You can now use a voucher system to take out your tuition and go to a private school instead of going to public.
Probably. Well, it's the whole state of Tennessee.
Is it now?
Yeah.
It's now officially all of Tennessee?
I don't know that it's like passed, but
yeah, I think it did pass. It doesn't go into effect until maybe a year or two down the line.
That's your politic take.
Hey, I mean, it's good for 8-man football because that's going to mean more kids could potentially go to private schools since they can now take their money out and go towards.
I'm sure schools that hate recruitment would love that.
Hey, I mean, it just means as well. Yeah, the schools that don't like recruitment, but it also means that public schools will have to put forward more efforts to incentivize people to go to their schools now.
I just saw this. Every day, I guess they just do this. There's other days of the month of the week that they do it, but I follow this thing on YouTube called "It's a Southern Thing," and the last like 4 times, like including today, we've done the show. As soon as the show goes live, they upload a video. It's like, guys, hold on, I'm gonna watch this video.
Maybe it's every 4 p.m. on Sunday is their regular scheduled uploading. What was that?
I was listening to the show. No, I'm just kidding.
He's listening back to us.
There's only a few things that I like playing around. Okay,
it's the show.
Dude Perfect videos.
Good mythical morning
on Monday
videos.
Nights. Well, those are kind of like, they're always there. But, like, these are planned every once in a while. Okay. So, Dude Perfect on Monday nights at 5. And then you have Hot Ones on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Then you have How Ridiculous on Friday nights at 6. And then Mr. Beast whenever he feels like uploading a video.
You playing this all out, huh? How do your kids feel about it?
Well, they're 2 and 3, so they don't really have feelings. No, they don't really. They can't.
They
have feelings. They can't communicate.
How does your wife feel about it? You blocking out time to watch videos?
Who else doesn't take their phone when they? Anyways.
So we are 5 days away out from the Jamboree. I'm looking right now at our broadcast schedule you've got mapped out for the season. It's looking like a pretty good schedule.
It's a good schedule.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
We got all the games that we're doing highlighted in yellow, including a bunch of Saturday games. There's only, I think, two Thursday games this year that we're doing. Only 2 of them from.
Yeah, I think there's 2.
Yeah, because of course, unfortunately, we can't do any games located at St. Andrews Swanee due to the internet connection down there. We love Swanee. To be fair, we love Swanee. We've got several games for them on the schedule. It's just that because of the cellular connection down there, we're not able to broadcast any games from on top of the mountain.
But we will be doing some of their away games. Spoiler.
That's what I said.
Spoiler.
Yeah, we're doing away games, of course.
But, of course, The broadcast schedule you won't be able to see because that's for our eyes
Yeah.
only. But you know what you can see? That's the 2019 helmet schedule that's coming out in the next couple weeks.
It's coming
Working
out.
on it right now.
Yeah. Our guy is working on it at the moment, finishing up the final touches. I think he was going to send us the first draft of it this week.
Yeah, somewhere in there. We'll get that. We'll get that out.
Yep, and you guys probably saw that post on social media about the banners. I'm looking at
I think
them.
okay. The post, like, it didn't come through text, but like when I saw them, the moment I saw them, the song "I Think I'm in Love." Yeah, that's that. So that's what I was trying to convey. But man, those posters look good.
Yeah, I'm looking at them right now. They're rolled up at the moment in the corner of the GracePointe Healthcare Studios because we've got them ready to take to our next venture.
How about a shout out to Signs First?
Oh yeah, they're helmet schedule
making
spots
it
for the banners.
happen.
Signs First to
These
Franklin.
guys are all over it.
Oh yeah, they had
615 Sports for doing the helmet schedule.
Oh yep.
There's people.
There is people
that know how to do good work.
Exactly. So
thankfully we found them. So.
Yeah, we
shout out to them.
Shout out to Signs First for getting both banners made.
They look good.
Oh yeah, we're going to be able to bring them to all of
our
broadcasts.
Pretty affordable too. Like they were only $45 somewhere in there.
Yeah.
Like for a 4x4 and a 3x6, they were like $45, $50. Like
reasonable,
super reasonable.
Yeah, because and you guys saw what the banners are for just the amount of stuff that's put on it and for the reasonable pricing on it. It's pretty good.
And then again, another shout out to Jets Pizza, Dr. Sterling Foster, and GracePointe Healthcare, just everyone chipping in. That's where the signs came from. So there you go.
That's where the helmet schedule comes from.
Where the helmet schedule, yeah. Those people make it happen. These people, and then we got a whole bunch of broadcast partners, International Fire Protection, Star Physical Therapy.
Mm-hmm.
So I
was going to announce them next week, but thanks for leaking them early, James.
Well, I've already put them on social media.
You put some of them, but not all of them.
Well, yeah, but I didn't mention any that aren't on social media or that you haven't said.
That's true.
Yeah,
that's true. Not at this point.
Calling me WikiLeaks over here. What's that guy's name?
You know
who I'm talking about? The WikiLeaks dude.
Shoot, who is his name? I mean, I know that the only name that comes to mind is Snowden, but he's not the WikiLeaks guy.
No. Anyways, wow, that was way off topic.
I know very much. So, yeah, we've got the broadcast schedule mapped out. We had about, I think, 20 games, maybe a little bit over 20 games.
I think with the playoffs, we're sitting at 23 or 24.
Yes, but even with adding those 2 games, because we have there is not a weekend this year where we're doing a triple header.
No.
It happened.
But there is a weekend, a Friday night, where there are no games.
Yeah, October 11th.
October 11th. There are no games Friday, October 11th.
Now, there is one school that has a to be determined on that week.
It's probably going to be a bye.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a bye week.
That's fall break for a lot of schools.
Yeah, a lot of them are just going to fall break, giving their kids off instead of doing practices and such. So the only game we're broadcasting that week, you'll find out later. But October 11th is basically at that point we'll know who's in the postseason, as far as I'm aware, unless it comes down to rivalry week.
And I think we should spoil something.
Oh boy, you got to spoil something?
I think we should spoil something about the games that we'll be at in broadcasting.
You always think that. You always think we should spoil it. I'm trying to incentivize people to come on the show.
We're looking at this as an option. I think we're going to do it, and I think you people will really, really like it. So at the games we broadcast, we will have the plan right now is we will have a limited amount of merchandise. Very limited. And we're going to have some of our 80 Cool 11 shirts. Mm-hmm. We're going to have possibly some shirts with our logo on it. We might even have pink shirts, for ladies that don't want to wear white T-shirts, and also for October for breast cancer awareness. So that's something we're working on right now. So if you guys see us at a broadcast, more than likely we will have merch with us. So hit us up if you want to pay. If you want to get some stuff. If you weren't able to, whenever we had our team store open back after the All-Star game for all that stuff. Yeah, I mean, get yourself a shirt.
4 weekends in October. One of those weekends, the final one, 25th through 26th, is the first round of the MTAC playoffs. Now it's a 16 playoff, so perfect time to wear your shirt potentially all month or at any of the games.
You don't have to just wear it at games, though.
Yeah, that's what I said. Potentially all month.
Yeah.
You could wear it for all 31 days.
You can wear it all 31 days.
Yeah, wear it for every
Be
single
pretty
day.
disgusting, but you can wear it for all 31 days.
Halloween, James Shannon costume. Boom.
Wow.
Just do jeans, boots.
We are legit trying to not give kids nightmares. Okay.
Okay, sorry. Monica. Monica.
Speaking of dreams,
Yes?
I got a question.
Oh, boy.
He got really technical earlier. Do people who are
You're
blind
asking this on air.
see their dreams? Okay, it's a question.
I should have asked my grandfather.
It's a
that.
question. Hey, it's a legitimate.
It is.
It's not being facetious. It's a question.
Yeah.
Anyways, that's way off topic.
I should have asked my grandfather that.
Bunny
before
trail
he
number
passed.
2.
Yeah, plenty of bunny trails. But
We
yeah,
are
broadcast
rolling.
schedule looks great. We're
If-
going to announce which games we're going to be at next Sunday. We'll announce our schedule after the Jamboree, and of course, going over all the Jamboree stuff. But
If you're just tuning in, you are listening to Extreme Radio.
presented by GracePointe.
Yeah,
Healthcare.
you are listening to. Yeah, we just got off on Buddy Trails. By the way, Julian Assange.
Yeah, I saw that
Assange.
comment. I saw that comment on
Assange,
there.
something like
Yeah,
that.
Julian
So,
Assange
anyways,
is the
ow,
WikiLeaks guy.
man,
Don't whack that. Don't whack your.
there's a leg under this table,
What did you think?
and it smacked my knee. Man. Anyways,
This is what happens when James gets too needy. So the Jamboree.
ba-da-ba-ba-da-ba-da-ba-dum. That's what happens when Spencer hangs out with a dad.
Exactly. Yeah.
You get dad jokes.
Or just hang out with my brother. 'Cause
True.
He's already pulling uncle jokes at this
True.
point. The Jamboree, we've got the text document in front of us that has all the itinerary and such going down for it. So here's what we're looking at. Teams that are participating in this year's Jamboree hosted at Christian Community School. Obviously, the Colts. Bowling Green Christian Academy, we did get confirmed that they are participating in it since their game with the Tri-City Tigers got canceled.
Tri-State.
Tri-State. Since they got canceled, they will be participating in the Jamboree. Zell Harding Christian, Franklin Christian Academy, Franklin Classical School. So we'll get to see early what Zell Harding potentially was
Get a little
gonna
spoiler.
do. Franklin Christian, Franklin Classical, Lancaster Christian is participating this year, South Haven Christian, and the Tennessee Heat. Schedule for that, day 1, it's opened up by CCS versus FCA.
Which is on Friday night, by the way, starting at 6:30.
Yep. And then FCA versus the Tennessee Heat. Tennessee Heat versus Zell Harding. And then
Is it Ezel or Ezel?
Ezel. I'm pretty sure. Ezel. I'm not sure.
You said Ezel, and I was like, is it like the emphasis on Ezel
Or is
or
it Ezel?
Ezel? Yeah,
I'm not sure.
that's the question.
Somebody will correct
We
us.
need Isaiah here because his mom went there.
Yeah, somebody will correct us at the end of the season. Someone will correct us very
Probably.
last second.
Probably.
Just like Bowden. We'll get corrected.
Where is
last
it? Man, I thought he was coming today.
Yeah. Well.
Anyways.
Yeah. So, yep. The Eagles, the Heat versus the Eagles, and then the Eagles versus the Colts. So we'll see a preview glimpse of that game the Colts and the Eagles are going to have later on in the season, in quarter 4, technically on Friday, and that starts at 6:30 p.m.
Yep.
Both days it starts at 6:30 p.m. On Saturday, CCS opens up against Bowling Green, then Bowling Green versus Lancaster versus Franklin Classical, Classical versus South Haven, and then a rematch of the 2017 championship. South Haven versus CCS.
Day 1, we only get a preview of Ezel CCS. But then on Saturday...
Well, we also get a preview of FCA. We're only getting a preview of one of those games on there. Of course, we're getting a preview of all the teams. But
Well, I'm saying the games, like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
matchups. And then day 2, all of those games are previews.
on Friday is Zell CCS. Is that the only?
Yeah.
That's the only
He
game.
doesn't
throughout the
play
season?
Ezel.
He doesn't play FCA this year.
No, I don't think so. I'm looking. I know we just talked about the schedules last week.
Yeah,
but
they don't.
Yeah, they don't. I told you,
then-
it's the only preview of the whole thing.
Yeah, Christian Community doesn't play FCA. They play Classical every year.
Well, yeah, that's like a long rivalry.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's part of Rivalry Week. Well, actually, not this
Oh,
year.
it's not?
It's not part of Rivalry Week this year.
Lighthouse is their rivalry week.
Yep. Essentially. So day 2.
Day 2, all the games are previews. CCS
Yep.
Bowling Green Lancaster, Lancaster Classical South Haven,
Yep.
and South Haven CCS. All
South
previews.
Haven plays Classical this year? Is that the first time that they've ever done? They don't play Classical this year.
Oh, no, they don't.
No, they play Christian.
You're right.
They play Franklin Christian this year. So there's one game that is not on there.
Okay.
So here's how the Jamboree is going to work. It's a quarter format where 14 scrimmage plays start from the 25-yard lines. You play 7 offensive, 7 defensive. And then there's a 20-second play clock during the scrimmage plays, so kind of a little bit more of
Right, so
quick
you
on
have
your
a
feet.
play, 20 seconds play, and that's
Yep.
basically. And during that scrimmage, the coaches are allowed on the field.
Yep.
They could stand behind the offense and walk them through it.
Yep, give them instructions.
That's typically how that works.
And there is a 7-minute regulation time to follow. So I guess with those 7 offensive and defensive, is that I'm guessing that's how much they have limited to do those 7 plays.
Well, like both teams will get 7 offensive plays in a scrimmage format, so the coaches can stand behind, and then they'll come off, and you'll have a 7-minute regulation time where, so whoever, let's say, I think they use a coin. No.
Do they use
They
a
either
coin toss?
use a coin toss or. Let's see.
MTAC loves coin tosses.
Yeah,
that's
for
sure.
real. We know that. I don't know if it's coin toss or like the away team starts, but whoever starts the 7 scrimmage plays first, I believe they'll start with the ball during the 7-minute regulation time, and then they'll go until they score or a turnover. And I don't think there's punts or kickoffs. I think it's just straight plays from scrimmage. And
sounds a little bit like the Pro Bowl.
yeah, kind of, but it's just to kind of get a feeler out for what you got. Yep. Last year's Jamboree was great. A lot of great previews of players and such. Right. So I'm excited about that. And it's not so much that it's formatted after a quarter. They call it quarters like for each game, so it's not really a game. It's like a quarter.
Yep.
So, but yeah, it's a classic format. It's a great. I'm more of a fan of actually having a quarter. And, like, setting the clock to 12 minutes and then just letting the teams go full speed.
Yep.
But this is a great format as well because, there's not a whole lot of scrimmages that happen. So a lot of coaches have to be able to stand back and, they can stand behind the offense and the quarterback can come back. They can give them the plays and they can go up and run the play and just, go do it that way. So
a lot better practice for them because there's no official.
It's almost like a practice.
This is the official, unofficial preseason for 8-man football in Tennessee.
Pretty much.
Tennessee and Kentucky, so that way it gives all the coaches an easy way to go about it. There's a 6-minute break between each quarter, no overtimes, and the teams may warm up on the practice. Okay, that's some other field stuff there. Infield warm up, so it's okay.
Stuff to bring.
Yeah, that's all that other stuff. So
I wonder if we can get our hands on some of those rosters.
Yeah, we might be able to see some of that up in the booth. That'd be pretty cool. What you got an idea?
There's something I want to talk about last week that I didn't get to, and I want to address today.
Oh boy, what do you got to address this time?
Oh, let's finish this.
The Jamboree. That's what we're looking at the Jamboree. Of course, the teams not participating: Lighthouse and Sacred Heart. Those are the 2 North teams that are not participating this year. Lighthouse used to do their
they
own. They
used to have their own, yeah.
But last year was the first year they never did their own. And
I think 2 years ago. I don't think they did
it
was
2 years ago. 2017 they decided not to do a Jamboree and then continue that to 2018 and now 2019. So this will be year 3 that they're not hosting a Jamboree. And Sacred Heart, they were at the Jamboree last year. But I believe they just decided not to
participate. By the way, something else I found interesting. They have the jersey colors already lined up.
Yep.
Bowling Green will wear all away jerseys. Well, they'll wear their away jerseys.
So
for
none
their
of the
games.
blackout jerseys.
No. CCS will alternate between the home jerseys and away jerseys for depending on which game they're playing. Easel Harding will be home. Franklin Christian will wear home. Franklin Classical will wear away. Lancaster will wear home. South Haven will wear home. And the Tennessee Heat will wear away. So
you get to
in
see
case you're wanting to know what your teams are going to be wearing.
And in case you want to see some new jerseys they may unveil this year, because I haven't heard much about if any of the teams are doing new jerseys.
I haven't heard anything about that either.
But there might be. It might be a chance for them to wear in those new jerseys if they decide to order some more. So just another chance there for them to do
And if you are planning on going up, just FYI, full concessions at the
Philly
gate.
cheesesteak.
Yeah, hit that up.
Good stuff.
Adults are $6, students $3. So if you're going to go check that, definitely go check it out. There's no ifs about it. Definitely go check that out. I'll be there Saturday. Spencer will be there Friday. Mm-hmm. We're going to tag team it because we got some other stuff going on alternate nights. So we'll be there walking around.
And
give us a shout.
The same tradition continues where we will not broadcast the Jamboree.
Yeah, no.
Imagine how hectic that would be to try and get all the rosters.
It's a chance to kiss some hands and shake some babies.
You'll see social media posts, of course. You'll see stuff on Instagram. Or
maybe Easel Harding's first 8-man football play.
Maybe. It will happen.
Think you can hook us up there, Spence?
Oh yeah. Oh, get an Instagram live of that? Yeah, sure. Something like that. You'll be seeing a lot of stuff on Instagram Live, of course. Well, not Instagram Live. You'll see it on our story. A lot of stuff will be posted there for all the Jamboree action going on. But don't depend solely on our social media posts. Go to the Jamboree yourself.
Go to it. Yeah,
go see the
it's
good
right there in
stuff
White House.
Yeah.
It's not that hard to get to.
No, unless, of course, you're in.
Well, yeah, I mean, if
City,
you're in
then
like Fayetteville or something like that, yeah, it might be a little bit of a drive, but
it's still good to go.
here's what you can do: go up there Friday evening after work or something.
Stay the night.
There's so many. There's a Hampton that just opened a Comfort Inn. There's a La Quinta. There's 5 or 6 hotels right there in White House.
Too late.
You can hop over. There's a Holiday Inn Express. Oh, there's cinnamon rolls for breakfast. They got some great biscuits and gravy.
I didn't have any cinnamon rolls at the Holiday Inn Express I stayed at out in Indiana.
Because it's
I was
in
there
Indiana.
a few weeks ago. It's still a Holiday Inn Express.
I'm just kidding. I love Indiana. I don't know why. How about this? Did you see on Twitter where Ohio's getting 8-man football? Couple
I've
schools
been
from
seeing that a
Ohio
little bit.
switching that. So just keeping an eye on 8-man football.
Ohio, I think Vermont is trying to go to 8-man football too. They've
got a few teams. Illinois has a big conference right now. Michigan's got a little bit. It's growing. It's moving east. It's opposite of a lot of. Well, no, it's kind of like a lot of things. It starts in the west and then it moves east.
Thanks to us.
Thanks
to us in part. So yeah, Jamboree is this weekend, 6:30 p.m. Both Friday and Saturday is when they start. Be sure to go out and see all the teams, see how they're going to perform throughout the season, get a little preview of that before they have perfected their craft and their plays. But it's going to be a really good Jamboree to watch going into this year.
So I'll tell you, I'm looking at this list of teams going to the Jamboree, and it's kind of one of the things I want to talk about today.
What questions will be answered?
I do have some questions about these teams, and there's two ways of thinking. Like, okay, let's lay everything out there at the Jamboree. Let's find out how everything's going to work, and then there's also, let's not show anything. Let's just run some basic stuff. I'm trying to make sure my mic is close enough. Run some basic stuff. Let's make sure that our guys have the fundamentals down, and that we know where everybody's going to play, or can alternately play. That's one way. Those are the ways of thinking, and that's fine. But I have some questions for the teams participating in the Jamboree. I'm gonna start. What?
You got plenty of questions, of course, but I mean, the Jamboree will always answer important questions for the teams, such as
we'll answer some of them.
It'll answer some of them because their offenses haven't been necessarily perfected at that point.
Right.
So the big looming questions you have. Let's start with the team hosting the Jamboree, CCS.
You want to start with CCS? That's cool. All right. Biggest question I have for them is at running back, and there's a whole lot of talk. Obviously, Jackson Daughter left. Graduated, yeah, going to Belleville Lindenwood University, Belleville. So shout out to him. And Derek Jefferson was their running back last year, their primary running back last year. I want to know, is he the guy? Because I'll be honest, there's times that I'm like, what, I don't know. Whether it be, is he at the school? Is he not? I don't even care about that. I want to know, is he the guy? Is he who you're going with? And can he carry the load? Because they have other guys. They've got Dan Adams, who ran the ball a little bit. You got Jeremiah Fitch, who's going to be a senior. And that's the other thing. They've got 10 seniors. But can all those seniors carry a load like your seniors last year for the most part? They've got guys like Fitch. I'm sure they could use a guy like James Lassiter, who actually ran the ball for him a little bit there at the end. And they used some big guys to run the ball too. And maybe that's something that they're going to give a shot, running some of the big guys. That's cool. They got a couple other running backs, on their roster. Giles, Runquist, who actually I think he's hurt. But, a couple guys labeled athlete on the roster. But I want to know about running back. Who's your guy at running back? You know who he was? You know who he was all these years beforehand. Who's going to be your guy? I also want to know about their line. Because David West is gone, who was your center. Zach Head is gone, who was one of your offensive linemen. Who's going to replace? I mean, you still got Avery Harper. That's cool. I mean, he's a good player, really good player. You got Will Adams, a freshman. You got Austin Reckert. And shout out to CCS for putting their roster on Max Preps. I mean, that's something that not a lot of teams will do. Some teams have, not a lot of teams will. But I'm just looking at how they have guys designated. So those are some of the questions, I want to know. Like I said, they still have Harper coming back. They've still got Jake coming back. Jake being the last name. They still got Worley. So, they got a lot of young guys. They're going to have to replace those two spots with West and Head. So, running back, and it's really just on offense because you still Harper was your leading, tackler last year, led the team in tackles. You still got Brooks Pugh. You still got Micah Jones, who were great at defensive back. You still got Johnny Stapleton. You've got guys who can get up and play. But the question is, more of the questions are on offense for me, and they'll maybe we'll get some of those answers Friday and Saturday. Like I said, they play Franklin Christian. They play Ezel Harding. They play Bowling Green. They play South Haven. So, I would say probably South Haven. I picked South Haven to beat them. I picked Ezel Harding to beat them. If I'm correct. I think I did.
You picked them for the upset.
I picked Ezel Harding to win. The organization is fantastic on my end. Right?
You have just got to get a filing cabinet.
Yeah, I picked Ezel Harding to beat them. So I've got two of the teams on there that I picked to beat them. They don't play FCA, but, FCA is still going to be rebuilding. Bowling Green's still rebuilding. So, they kind of close out both of those days with some what should be good opponents. So that'll really answer some questions there.
I got a little bit of a rabbit trail question for you, just food for thought, potentially for yourself and the viewers to have this food
rabbit
for thought
trail,
as well.
bunny trail.
Yes. So,
squirrel.
Do you think it's time for the conference to regulate that all schools put stuff up on Max Preps, or put their rosters and their stats on a uniform site that's similar to Max Preps, so that everybody sees the stats, the rosters, all that? You think it's time for the
hands
conference
down? I've heard that. I've been told that. Apparently, the teams will now all have access to everyone's roster. That's fine. Whatever. You could put the responsibility on the teams to say, I don't know if the teams are allowed to do it. I think if that's how you're going to do it, at that point the teams should have the ability that if a parent comes and says, hey, I want to know who my kid is going to be playing next week, you should be able to give it to the parents. If you're going to do it that way, the ideal way and the way it should be done is they should make the rosters public. Figure out a way. Redo your website. Put them on the website. Have one person go through, put them all on Max Preps. Hiding your roster and not letting people see your roster because you might change it week to week, or you don't want people to know who's on your team, or you don't want people to see it so you can change numbers from game to game. That doesn't give you an advantage. It really doesn't. I don't know. No. Who put that in anybody's head that gives you an advantage? Because it doesn't. That is the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard. I've ever seen. It's not just hearing it, seeing it. I've seen teams purposefully hide their roster, and it's insane. It's insane how much people think that gives them an advantage.
Yeah, looking at the MTAC website now, it's out of date.
It's bad.
There's some things that need to be updated, and of course it's a mixture of a lot of things for why it's not updated, because they partnered with it was Scoreboard.
They partnered with Scoreboard and it went south apparently.
Yeah, not MTAC South, but it went south. But
they were supposed to have live update boxes on the scoreboard. It was crazy.
Yeah, we haven't heard the full update on that situation.
Anyways.
But I'm sure it's probably. I'm sure it's probably just a little bit of issues between that partnership thing, and I'm sure the website's going to be relaunched at some point. But it's out of date here because There's a new league administrator, new league president, and I believe there's a new treasurer as well with the MTAC board. So,
Well, some of the schools are new too.
Yeah, exactly. There are new ones on there. They haven't updated the 2019 standings for football on the website because it's only showing 2018.
They don't have updated bylaws.
Yeah, 2017 bylaws are the last one they have there. We've actually requested to get a copy of the bylaws because that's what we were originally going to do for the show.
If anybody out there has a copy of the bylaws,
send it our way. We'll talk about it on the show right now.
8manextreme@gmail.com.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Yeah, we'll talk.
Hit the email button on our Instagram.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the show right now.
You can follow at 8manextreme.
Yeah, we'll talk about it on the show right now if we have access to it. Because I mean, we asked around to a few people and
it's crazy how hard it is to get rosters and bylaws. Like, it's insane.
Especially because the bylaws now have the 16 playoff in there. I'd like to see what the updated stuff is on there.
If it's actually in the bylaws right now, if it's been put in there.
Yeah, because you look on page 11, there's still that tiebreaker.
Yeah, it's the old rules.
Yeah, it's the 2017 rules.
Again, kudos to MTAC for moving to 16 playoff. It's something that had to happen.
There's something you've been preaching about for years. But, the thing is, even with the 16 playoff, assuming that the bylaws are the same in the tie-breaking category as they were from 2017 and last year, that doesn't solve the three-way tie we had in 2017 because you're still trying to figure out who's first, second, and third.
Yeah.
So it's one of those situations where
and I don't want to hear about this the fixes through hearsay. Give me a copy of them. Let me read what's actually being decided on. Let's have some organization.
Talking about meeting notes.
Something, yeah. You go to the TWSAA's website. It has their meeting minutes.
Now, to be fair, I did have a conversation with the MTAC president at one point about it. Was saying that the struggle for us at times as an outlet, as the only media outlet for the conference, is that like the TWSAA, they publish meeting notes, and that's for the most part why we've gone to scheduling meetings and such, is because of months of not hearing any updates on certain situations or hearing updates on certain things. And to his exact response of that, MTAC reserves the right to not publish those, which is factual. That's completely true. As a conference, you do have the right to not publish those meeting notes and not publish what happens in your meetings. That's perfectly fine. If there are any changes to the conference, however, such as, 16 playoff or that kind of stuff, I mean, you reserve the right not to tell people about that or not release it to the public, but it's one of those situations of why would you want to withhold
what's the big deal? Why would you reserve the right to withhold it? Let's say you're going to change the JV rules and middle school football, or JV rules specifically, because JV is kind of a gray area. It's like, okay, what grades are we going to, if you're going to say that, okay, 6th grade players, and I'm not saying this is the rule right now, 6th grade kids can play in a JV game. And then you're also going to say, well, the cap is we're going to stop at 10th grade. 10th grade players can play in a JV game.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, you have a 12 or 13-year-old kid, let's say a 12-year-old kid, playing against a 16-year-old kid. That's a big difference.
Right now,
big difference.
You're talking about the JV rule specifically. So according to 2017, high school consists of participants 8th grade through 12th grade. Junior varsity, this level of classification is for all sports and intended for developmental purposes. It is expected only freshman and sophomore participation. However, exceptions can be made for juniors after prior communication with opposing athletic directors.
Insane.
And middle school must be 5th through 8th grade. It must be under 15 before August 1st.
Okay. Wow.
So that is the specific rule.
Here's the fix. Let's see a set of the bylaws.
We have the 2017, but not the 2019.
2019. Let's see a set of the 2019 bylaws. I'll even go so far. I will say this right now on the record, on the air. When I have a set of 2019 bylaws in front of me, I won't even question the decisions that are made. What the bylaws say. I will sit there. I will legit sit there. I will sit there and I will read them because it's just communication. Will I agree with them? No. Will I discuss them? Maybe. But will I outright criticize them? No.
That's a miracle because you've criticized the bylaws.
Well, and you know why? Because I'm not affiliated with any school. I don't have a kid on any team. I don't have a right to criticize criticize it. I can talk about it, but I don't have a right to criticize
Well, you've
it.
criticized the coin toss tiebreaker plenty of times, though, and that's been a rule that's been in place for years with MTAC.
Well, that was when I wasn't as positive. I'm much
You just
more
need to be
positive
more
now.
positive.
I'm trying, okay?
You're trying your best for sure.
Anyways.
But yeah, at least looking at the specific MTAC
Massive
bylaws,
bunny trail.
junior varsity, that is a gray area on the rules. I know that we're supposed to talk about Jamboree stuff, but this is really interesting to talk about this stuff because we were originally going to talk about the 2019 bylaws, but I don't know if it's just they haven't got a finalized copy of them yet, or if it's not a finalized copy, or if people just haven't responded to emails. But the last updated are 2017 for the bylaws. So that we were originally going to talk about on the show, the bylaws, and just discuss all the ins and outs of it for football and such, whatever it is on there. But it's interesting, it really is.
Shout out to Coach Orange, user on YouTube, saying sending 8-man love from California.
Shout out to him.
Bam. Got some 8-man football in California.
Let's look at something really interesting because we had this pop up last year with.
You gonna let me finish the Jamboree? I got questions.
Probably not, because the Jamboree.
I want to finish.
Okay.
Okay, what you got?
Transfer students, because we had this come up last year. So, per the MTAC bylaws, all transfer students must be submitted and cleared for play by the MTAC. That's laid out.
Right.
It's there. Member schools. A transfer student is ineligible for varsity conference play for 1 year from the date of transfer unless a hardship exemption is granted by the board members of the conference.
Which has happened.
Yep. High school transfer student who did not participate in any athletic team at his or her previous school within their school year will be deemed eligible.
Makes sense.
Non-member schools. A transfer student who has transferred from a non-member school to a member school must sit out for 2 weeks, 14 days, and is eligible on day 15. The 2 weeks starts from the official enrollment date given by the school if the student enrolls after the school year has begun. Any student who enrolls prior to the start of the school year is immediately eligible. A letter of good standing and statement of enrollment date must be sent to the president of the MTAC upon transfer. So what I would like to know is how they got a hardship exemption. How Lighthouse Christian School got a hardship exemption on one player from the Tennessee Heat, and they didn't get it on a second one.
Probably location.
You think so?
Where they live. I would say so. That's more than likely what happened.
Just a location thing.
Yeah, and the player might have been living either on the other side of Antioch, away from Mount Juliet, or closer to Antioch. You never know what could have happened between that, but it's a tough situation. The only thing I would say about that is, let's say you have a kid transfer in right now, transferring from outside school, so he's going to sit out. What does it say? 14 days.
So, 14 days. If it's
okay.
from, say in the case of John Buchanan, he sat up for 14 days when you transferred from Centennial to FCA. Sat up for, I think, 14 days from the enrollment date.
But I know life's not fair, but here's what I would say about that. How is it fair if a kid transfers right now, sits out 14 days? Let's say your first game isn't until the 16th. Kid transfers right now, the kid's eligible for that game.
Mm-hmm.
Right off the bat, he's not going to miss any games. He'll miss the Jamboree. And maybe, if your first game is 16th, he's not going to miss any games.
Well, it says from the enrollment date given by the school.
Right.
So that depends on what enrollment date they give.
Right. But let's say that scenario versus kid transfers in week 4 of the season.
Uh-huh.
So now that kid that kid has to miss 2 games because he's got to sit out 14 days. That's 2 weeks. That's 2 games. Uh-huh. Unless you got a bye week in there or something. So, it's all about when you choose. And I get it. It's all about when you transfer. Everything is different. Sometimes situations are different. But, that's interesting to me that, it's not really, I would almost say that the kid that transfers in before the season has to sit out the first 2 weeks to make it even. But at the same time, that's the advantage of deciding to enroll early is you sit out 14 days, but it could just be 14 days of practice. So there's 2 ways of looking at it.
The only other thing I see here, and then we'll move back on to the Jamboree, that still has the looming question over there is ties for the seeding of a tournament. That's still the three things. Head-to-head competition during the regular season, head-to-head competition against the highest seed to continue to the last played seed, and flip of a coin by the MTAC president.
Yeah, but I don't think with a 3-team playoff, I don't think we're going to have the issue.
That, like I said, in 2017, if we still had that 3-team playoff, you still have to flip the coin to determine who's first, second, and third in the South. Because it's still head-to-head competition because Swanee beat Webb, Webb beat FCA, and FCA beat Swanee in 2017.
That's true.
That's what I'm saying is that the 3-team playoff gives more opportunity.
But at least one of the teams wouldn't be left out of the playoffs.
It
would simply be to determine seeding.
Yeah. Imagine if Swanee were in the playoffs in 2017, man. If they were in that one,
they'd have won the championship.
You genuinely think they would have won?
I genuinely believe they won the championship.
You think?
CCS? Wow, that was hot. I love the South Haven team from that year. You know, I didn't pick them to do great.
You picked them 2-6.
They went from worst to first. Great championship game.
Yep.
They ran over Webb in the playoffs that year. I don't think Webb should have been in the playoffs.
You've always stood by that.
That year, yeah. Great team, but you look at what they did against South Haven. I mean, they laid an egg against South Haven at their field.
And then in the consolation game at their field.
Against FCA. Now, and that might have been the players just saying, it is what it is.
Well, now the consolation
But I think you plug Swanee in there. I think Swanee beats South Haven. And I think in a rematch for the first time since 2012, I think Swanee beats CCS.
What about if Swanee travels up to CCS for the semi? If the coin flip went where FCA got number 1 seed, Swanee gets number 2 seed.
Well, I'm saying if you swap Swanee with Webb.
Okay, but
you're saying if Swanee went
travels
to CCS,
up to CCS and then FCA hosts South
that
Haven.
year, that'd have been a good game.
Oh yeah, pouring, but it still would have been. A good
I would almost say because of the level of injury, number of injuries that CCS had that year, I would almost say Swanee would have won.
In that
because Swanee in that consolation game,
the
MTAC Bowl, to my knowledge, I mean there were a couple injuries, but you still had Dustin Stensby.
Yep.
You still had Blaze Zeitler. Jalen Tillman was only a junior. I mean, you had some dudes on that team. They might have beat CCS. And then you'd had a Swanee South Haven championship, which those two teams would ever play. That would have been cool.
That would have been an awesome
But anyways,
championship.
enough talking about what could have been.
All right, enough talk about that.
Let's talk about what is going to be.
Yep. Somebody send us the 2019 bylaws, please.
No kidding.
Somebody please send us that at some point because we really, really would like to have those. But anyway, so we had continuing on to the Jamboree. What other questions are looming for you? So you went over CCS.
CCS. I'm going to look at Bowling Green, and the biggest question,
I'm laughing at one of the comments that was put on our YouTube channel.
All right, so Bowling Green, obviously they do have a quarterback picked out to take over. I want to know what he's got. Want to know how good he is because he's replacing the Brown brothers, who gradually, little by little, and they didn't do it by themselves, but year by year, Bowling Green got a better schedule. They had a good team last year. They've still got Gage Holman, who is the number 1 running. I'm going to say it. He's the number 1 running back in the conference.
Hot take.
He is the second best player in the conference.
Second to your pick, Josh Austin.
Second to Josh Austin, who I believe is the number 1 player in the conference. But around him, I mean, they've still got Cooper Guy on the line. They've still got Canby at tight end. They've still got some guys at different spots. But I want to know about quarterback, and I want to know about defense. What are you going to do there? What do you got? I want to know that about Bowling Green, and we'll find out. Like I said, Bowling Green plays CCS and Lancaster.
Defending,
two strong opponents.
Defending MTAC Bowl champions, even though
against the defending state champions.
Exactly. Even though, of course, the MTAC Bowl is defunct now, but still, they'll be defending that for the rest of their school's history.
All right, it's like it's like in wrestling when you decide to cancel a title, you just take the title home with you.
Yep.
I was the last hardcore champion. Anyways.
So now we head on to the next team that's participating in the Jamboree. What questions do you have for South Haven this year?
For South Haven, I want to know who's going to take over running back because you had Frankie Gagliano last year, senior. And, you got guys like Dang who –
You've also got Andrew Crawley, who's going into his junior year now. Like
he graduated. There's another Crawley on. No, Andrew Crawley.
Yeah, you're
I
thinking.
thought you were Andrew Royalty.
No,
There's a
not
royalty on the team.
No, but Andrew Crawley, that was the freshman quarterback who was injured the entire championship season, but maybe played. I think he played a few snaps in the championship.
Well, then he played last year, so he'll be a junior
started
this
sophomores,
year.
Yeah.
I think he'll be strong. I think he'll be just fine.
Mm-hmm.
Running back is where I have the question. There's a lot of teams I have a question of running back.
Oh yeah.
I want to know who their running back's going to be. How dependable is he going to be? I want to know about the wide receivers. What do you got at receiver? I know you got Dang. They've got a couple guys from last year, who might contribute. I want to know what they have at receiver. What kind of targets are you going to give Andrew Crawley? Defense, I think they're fine. They'll be all right.
You think they'll get their first win since the MTAC championship in 2017?
Well, I predicted them to beat FCA.
And that's their first game of the season.
First game of the year. I picked them to win their first game of the year. So
we'll see how
I think
that goes.
they will. And like I said, South Haven plays Classical and CCS. So
that'll be interesting. It's gonna be a good season for them.
And the other thing too, on the line, I want to see how they replace Nick Ambrose and Sosa Var.
Mm-hmm.
So
Tennessee Heat, last team to cover in the North that's in the Jamboree. What are your questions for the Heat?
Kind of like South Haven, I want to know what they've got at receiver. I want to know what kind of weapons they're going to give Goolsby. I want to see how Goolsby progresses. He was only a sophomore last year, had a great year, didn't have a great all-star game because he was up there in Dayton. I want to know how he progresses. I want to know what kind of targets they give him. Also on defense, you lost Micah DeGrood. You lost Chris Savely. Obviously, James Redding was out all year. The biggest question I have is you lost Preston Sloan.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best players in the conference last year. So who's going to be your go-to? Sloan was your go-to guy. Kick returner, punt returner, go-to receiver, jet running back, whatever. If you needed, defensive back. He was everywhere. Who's going to be your everywhere guy? That's what I want to know. I think the line is set. I think Goolsby's fine. I think they're set at quarterback. Running back, they'll be fine. They've got their running back from last year, Kelton Copeland, coming back, third game of the year. Probably about week 3, he'll probably come back in. I know he's recouping an ACL tear from the consolation game. But I want to know who's going to be their target and who's going to be their go-to, get everything done guy. They've got some young guys. They got a lot of youth, a lot of young guys on the team. I think their line, like I said, will be just fine. But, I want to see what they've got.
It's going to be decent to see if the Tennessee Heat can make a shake after getting to the number 2 seed in the North.
Again, they play FCA and Ezel.
So that's going to be interesting for them. Franklin Christian Academy, I think it's kind of an obvious question of
how do you replace John?
How do you replace
no,
John Buchanan?
No person is irreplaceable. But how do you replace John Buchanan? You can, and I'm not saying who's going to replace him. I'm just saying who are you? How are you going to reproduce? How are you going to replace his production?
Yeah, and you said earlier that they're in rebuilding. They're still in rebuilding.
They're in a little bit of a rebuilding stage. They're working on their line. They need a running back. I think they have a receiver set. I think they're good. I think they have some receivers. And you got the Carpenter brothers that their older brothers played and won a couple championships. So if these younger Carpenters can play like the older Carpenters, I think they've got a chance. You still got Daniel Holcomb coming back, a quarterback, for one more year. But I also want to know what they've got at defensive back. Kind of like usually wide receivers play defensive back. I want to know what they've got there. Who's going to be their guy to stop those deep threats?
Classical. Best player in the conference on their team, according to you.
Button.
They have the best player in the conference, according to you, and Josh Austin. What are the key factors?
You can have the best player. You still got to have a quarterback. Supposedly, a kid named Jed Mangrum is going to be the quarterback this year, first-year quarterback. I want to see what he's got. I want to see. I want to see who their backup is. A lot of teams just focus on one quarterback. You got to develop a backup, so you don't have to water down your offense as much. You're still going to have to water it down a little bit, but not as much.
That happened with them in 2017 when Cole Warren went down. Had like that AC.
Yeah,
ACL
you started.
tear.
I think Isaiah played quarterback for a little bit. I mean, they were cycling through everybody. They did that last year when they tried Sam Hubbard, and either he wasn't playing well or he got hurt, and they had to start plugging people in and watering the offense down. Get you two guys who you could go with either one of them. Kind of like what Webb and Swanee had, 2 freshman quarterbacks. It didn't matter which one was on the field because they're both going to do great.
Lancaster, they now have Deuce Bragg in high school officially as a freshman. From what he did last year as an 8th grader, I can't wait to see how good he's going to be as a freshman for him. But I think he's been growing and bulking up in the offseason. So it's going to be.
His hair's been growing.
Yeah,
I'll tell you that.
I still remember I had that conversation with Coach Bragg. I was like, "So does he get the hair from you, or does he get it from?" He's like, "It's not from me, that's for sure." So Lancaster, are there any major looming questions you have for them because I know they obviously lost Bowden, lost Hargrove. So, and yes, it's Bowden, but they lost Hargrove. Are
you talking about the comment about you finding a way to use the word defunct?
No, it was when we said the thing about I think like Southaven or something. The guy who said, "Come on."
And then
I just noticed that one.
Spencer finds a way to use the word defunct.
You want me? Yeah, I've been using that for the last few weeks, man.
He's pretty good at sliding that word in.
But yeah, Lancaster. What's your big question?
I think I've heard they've got a good running back, but I want to know how good he is. Is he a good replacement for Matt Bowden? It's just like John Buchanan. You can replace him, but can you really replace his productivity? That's what I want to know. I also want to know on defense, who's going to be their big guy on defense? Who's going to be that linebacker? Who's going to be that guy that takes control and, he's got it. He's the man, like the Jackson Daughter, the John Stock. Those guys that when you play him, this guy's a linebacker and this guy's going to smack me in the mouth. This guy can also go out on pass coverage, and he can give me a little something. He's not going to be the best DB out there, but he's going to give me a little something.
Last team that's in the Jamboree is Zell Harding. Obviously, there's a lot of
questions. What do they have, period?
I know. I
know Derek Griffin, their quarterback, is really, really good, supposedly. I want to know what they've got. It's like Lancaster from last year. No one knew what Lancaster had. I want to know what Ezell Harding has. I want to know how their guys have transferred to 8-man, how they're picking the game up.
Maybe we'll see Ezell go all the way to the second round of the playoffs this year, just like Lancaster went to won the consolation game. Maybe Ezell goes to the second round.
It's very possible.
But you predicted him to be about a 500 team, maybe a little bit over.
Who is Ezell? Over 500. No, they'll make the playoffs.
Oh yeah, you're thinking
they make the playoffs.
You were saying 500.
Them and Lancaster and Riverside make the playoffs.
We mentioned this on the show before. We have a group chat for 8-Man Extreme that we just talk about, business stuff and things like that. And I think it was back in June before we actually started the show or something. James just put a message in the chat. He's like, "Ezell's going to go 500." Early hot take. And now he's predicted, I think.
Well, I changed my mind a little bit.
Yeah, he changed his mind since then. So just so you know, he has that.
Listen, when you call a school coming to 8-man football 6 months before it happens, you have the right to do that. Actually, it was more like 4 because I think I said it. I think I said it in November, and we found out in February.
Yeah, you have the right.
So 4 months, 3 or 4 months. But still,
you have the right to change your predictions as you pick and choose.
I've also predicted the next team, the next Christian school to come to 8-man football.
Which one is it? Zion.
Zion Christian out of Columbia. I'm calling it right now.
You think they'll finally do it? Didn't you also say, I think, was it Heritage Christian in Kentucky, you think they should go to?
Nah, I don't think they will.
you keep pushing for them, too, but maybe they'll do it at some point.
Give us another Kentucky team.
Yep, give us more than one. Maybe Bowling Green Christian will just suddenly move down to, I don't know, like they'll just suddenly move down to Tennessee.
I don't know, with these teams popping up in Ohio.
That's true.
It's almost as far as for them to drive to Riverside.
Yeah, it's the same distance. Who knows? Maybe
same difference.
Yeah, who knows? But yeah, that's all your team.
Where are the water bottles in this place?
They are back over in the fridge in the lobby. I should have grabbed some beforehand. I was thinking about it.
Oh, wait!
You have some water.
Of course I do. Why did I even think about that?
You got some water.
Hit the cough button.
Oh, yeah. So the Jamboree is we've already talked about all the teams participating in those. So the Jamboree is set to be great this weekend, 6:30 on Friday and Saturday. James is looking up at the ceiling.
You got a
for some
spot
reason.
on yourself. I'm trying to figure out if it's like
Oh yeah, we probably do.
leakage or mold.
It probably is.
I'm just kidding. It's
Something
not
like
mold.
that.
These people are all about their cleaning.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's probably a
clean
leak.
person.
It's probably a leak from the AC.
Probably.
I'm sure. But
Not a big deal.
Yeah, not that much of a problem. But yeah, those are all the Jamboree teams. 6:30 both Friday and Saturday. It's going to be good. Make sure you go out there. Don't depend just on our social media posts for the Jamboree to get out there.
Keep an eye out for those posters, those sexy posters.
Oh yeah.
Bam.
Yeah, we'll make sure to put
They
those
look
up
good.
somewhere. Yeah, they do. They look good. We'll be hanging those
8
up at
equals
all the
11,
games.
y'all.
Yep. It's a conversation starter. This is we tell people.
Yeah, it's not homeschool math.
Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for the show today, James.
We're doing pretty good at this whole hour thing.
Yeah, we're doing for the off season. Yeah, we're getting pretty good. But next week it's going to be a pretty loaded.
Yeah,
show.
Next week recap the Jamboree,
And then
preview the first weekend of games.
We won't have to worry. Yeah, we won't have to worry about any.
Maybe a coach interview.
We won't have to worry about any more filler for the show. We won't have to worry about any more stalling
True.
because we got plenty of content to talk about from
Plenty.
here on out. Well, ladies and gentlemen, football season is here.
This is the last weekend without football, other than MTech football.
So-
Last weekend without football until February 8th.
Somebody also posted on social media, I know it's not 8-Man, but somebody said this is the last weekend without college or NFL football until February 8th.
That's what I just said.
Well, you said football about it. You said 8-Man football.
No, I said without 8-man football.
Yeah, I'm
You
saying
got the Hall of Fame
college
game this weekend.
Thursday, yep. Broncos, Falcons.
Who cares?
You just mentioned it. What do you mean? Who
I mean,
cares?
I do want to see how Joe Flacco does.
It's a
Not
Hall
Joe
of Fame.
Flacco.
Yeah, it's Flacco. He's a starting quarterback.
It is Flacco.
I don't know if they'll play him. They may play their backups, but Flacco, I think, is their starter.
Bring back Tebow.
No, he's too much at baseball now. They won't bring him back.
True.
I just wish that they'd given him more of a chance, man. The only
Shout out to the Orlando Apollos for winning the AAF championship.
Who cares? The Alliance of American Football. That's still a thing? I thought they suspended all of their operations.
They had to give him a ring for something.
Yeah, I thought they suspended all their operations immediately and such. I didn't think they did any playoffs.
This is not a random sports show where we talk about random football.
It should be. Probably should be. But yeah.
Nah, other people have that.
But yeah, that'll wrap it up for this week's episode of Extreme Radio presented by GracePointe Healthcare. If you go to GracePointeHealthcare.com, make sure to request your appointment online. Mention you're with 8-Man Extreme, you get $20 off your new patient office visit fee. GracePointe Healthcare, modern medicine the old-fashioned way. Dr. Sterling Foster is also a sponsor of the show. For all of your digestive issues and chiropractic needs, drsterlingfoster.com. And you going to mention it this time?
We're
James,
also
for that?
sponsored
Yep.
by Jets Pizza, y'all. Hey, listen. Specifically go check out the ones in Springfield, Fort Campbell, or in Clarksville. But no matter where you are, it's always a great time. Just say Jets, let's get Jets.
Mm-hmm.
There was a pop there again. I'm going to lose my eardrums.
Say it one more time, ladies and gentlemen, as we're about to get off the show. James is
Football is back.
James is starting to take off his headset already. But
wow,
for James,
nice behind-the-scenes spoiler there, bud.
I've been saying that for weeks. Anytime you start taking off your headset. I've been saying it for weeks. On behalf of James Shannon, I'm Spencer Thompson. Jamboree is this weekend. The following weekend is the first 8-man football game of the 2019 season. Ladies and gentlemen, it's official. Football is back.
See